This is the Tesla 1 month overview reading for the month of February 2024. It's currently December 26, 2023, 9:23 p.m. Eastern Time. Tesla at the time of this reading is currently $256.61. That's USD. And the shuffle video that we're about to play for you was created on December 5th, 2023 at 3:14 p.m. Eastern Time, or 3:10 Eastern Time. That's this video down here in the corner. So the overall theme and behavior for February, we have an attempt to establish support. Usually when you see the power card, it's either there's an important support that you like rotate sideways along, or it's like a failed attempt and you break down through it. The Prince of Wands indicates a lot of price change and or volatility. Probably both. And then behavior around the highest high or highs for the month. Looks like we're bound by the upper end of a range here. Behavior around the lowest low or lows for the month. I'm advised to be cautious. There's multiple false bottoms or some sort of tricky chart behavior near the bottoms that would like make you you're likely to do the wrong thing like impulsively based on that chart behavior. So it's important to be careful around those lows. Before we go any further, I want to make sure everybody's aware the whole purpose of the channel is to transmute some of the competitive energy of the stock market into goodwill. And we do that here on the resources tab of our website, Terra for Traders, where we follow the rule of karma for the channel. It's the unwritten agreement between the universe and anybody utilizing this information for personal gain. The universe has no problem with that, as long as it's also being utilized simultaneously to help other people. So you must follow through on this rule of karma if you expect to continue profiting from this information. And the way that you do that is 5% of the profits from each profitable trade utilizing this information should be donated forward to one of the charities here on the resources tab. Just click here and donate. And 5% of the profit should be donated back to the channel here at one of these links, helping the channel, supporting the channel and saying thank you. It leaves you 90%. Make sure to spend that 90% out of love. As long as you follow those rules, you're an angel investor of the channel. The universe is going to send it back to you tenfold for following through on those rules, my friend. Blessings to all my angel investors. Before we get into the day-by-day chart behavior, I want everybody to understand that not each card's energy is going to line up perfectly with 1 day of time. So you have to give it plus or minus 1 day of wiggle room here or there in some cases. On a bad reading, maybe plus or minus 2 days, but I consider that a bad reading very rare. And in a lot of cases, you won't need the plus and minus. But the most important aspect of the reading to pay attention to is going to be the sequence of chart events as predicted, because no matter if the timing's off by a day here or there, the sequence of events will keep you on track as far as the prediction. All right, so on the first, we have a prominent trough or low. It's either and or on the first second. It's either or first second, or it could be both. So on the first, we have a prominent trough that stands out on a 1 month scale. We establish support with sideways rotation near the cusp of the first second, and it looks like there's this big move higher, bumping along resistance sideways. It looks like we have a drop into what'll act as our lowest low. We have a drop into another trough early in the day on the second, and then added that trough, we have bumping along resistance sideways, breaking through resistance, bumping along resistance sideways. That turns into key rotation along key support on the 5th. A trade opportunity on every single one of these days throughout the first week and a half of February. So I'll talk about those in more detail in the paid version. An important peak around the cusp of the 5th, 6th, where we have a failed attempt to break through key resistance on a multi-day scale. It'll be resistance that technicals lead us to believe we're going to break through. And then instead we break down through key support on a multi-day scale, probably the support that we're rotating along here on the 5th. That decline takes us all the way into a trough midday on the 7th, prominent trough there again on a 1 month scale, and then it rally out of that pretty notably, increasing with momentum moving forward into the 8th. There's a brief peak, there's a prominent peak on the 8th. That's followed by a notable decline through multiple supports, increasing with the momentum moving forward back into a prominent trough on the cusp of the 8th, 9th. And then we have like this pop and drop on the 9th. So we either have a pop and drop on the 9th, or we have a pop on the 9th and a drop over the weekend on the 12th. Into the 12th. We have an important trough early in the day on the 12th, and it's part of a U-shaped dip. So my sense is that probably there's one peak on the 9th, a trough early in the day on the 12th, and then another peak towards the end of the day on the 12th, or maybe it's the 13th. On the 13th, we have a period of sideways rotation establishing support. A prominent move higher sitting out on a 1 day chart or on a multi-day chart, and then sideways rotation at a higher price level, taking us into a peak or crest midday on the 14th. A prominent peak or crest on a 1 month scale, and a notable reversal there. We also see a prominent trough on the 13th and a prominent trough on the 14th. Sideways fluidity, equal amounts of bulls and bears inflow and outflow on the 15th. And another prominent peak on the cusp of the 15th, 16th, or early in the day on the 16th. And it looks like bearish, those sideways fluidity on the 15th turns into bearish price swings on the 16th. There's probably another peak towards the end of the day on the 16th, but there should be a sharp drop there at the end of the day on the 16th into a prominent trough. Before we go any further, let's take a look at December and see how we did thus far. All right, so we had a peak on the 5th, followed by a trough after the 6th, 7th, followed by another peak on the 8th. Boom, that's pretty notable. Into a lowest low on the 11th. It looks like we missed that by a day, 2 days. And then that's followed by a highest high on the 13th. And that ends up being the 5th, 14th, but pretty close. Prominent trough on the 20th, prominent peak on the 19th. This is a really solid reading, guys. And then we have a highest high on the 27th, so that's tomorrow, but it's looking pretty, like it's set up pretty well for that. Oh, we also have like this peak on the 20th that we sell off from pretty notably. Yeah, this is looking really solid. And so like the most important trade would have been like, so on the 11th, I would have opened up a long position at a trough, would have been a little early, probably would have added to that long position there, but on the 13th, I would have looked to close, and it looks like it would have been on the 14th. So it might have gotten a little tricky with this trade. Let's see what else. The Ace of Swords on the 8th, right? So that gives you opportunity to trade both directions around that resistance rate. First to the downside, exit on the 11th, you would have made money. If you open up a short position over the weekend, you would have made a pretty solid gain there. Man, I should have seen this as a trough. because there it is, boom. And then in the midst of closing that long position, right? Even if you did it early and you closed that long, excuse me, in the midst of closing that short position on the 11th, which would have been early, you still would have been able to make money if you opened up a long position based on the Ace of Swords from the 8th, right? You close it on the 14th, open up a long position, you would have been able to close that long position on the 14th for good profit. And then another trade would have been in the midst of that decline, that Ace of Disc decline from the 19th into the trough on the 20th, opening up a long position that you could have closed on the 22nd. That would have made a solid gain. And then it looks like you could have opened up a short position on the 22nd, closed it there. But I would probably be looking for this for this peak or this highest high on the 27th. This is a really solid reading, guys. And this reading was created on, if you're wondering, this reading was created on October 8th, or the December 2023 reading for Tesla was created on October 8th, 2023 at 9:56 p.m. Eastern Time. That's like 2 months in advance, my friends. Really, really solid reading. So if you're interested in getting the paid version, it's a really great way to support the channel, guys. Not only do you get the best trades that we see, the timing of the best trades that we see throughout the month of February, but what trades to avoid, and also what type of chart behavior on a one-day chart to look for entry and exit into those and out of those trades. You get the timing of the highest high and lowest low. You get any price level information that we might be able to extrapolate, and then any trades that are relevant from like a multi-month or multi-year type of trade. As well as overall performance of Tesla versus the S&P 500, all in the paid version. Great way to support the channel. You get the paid version here on the under our services, SO Meta Posts. Scroll down to monthly subscription, click here to order. And obviously you want to click on Tesla. But if you're interested in the paid version of more than just Tesla, any of these other ticker symbols as well, highly recommend the 30 days access to all paid. It's the most popular subscription on the channel. And it gets you the paid version of all of these tickers, plus ones that you can't get individually. You can only get them through the all paid monthly predictions, like Amazon, Google, and Nvidia. Jeez, I'm losing my voice here. So thanks to everybody that goes ahead and does that. The paid monthly subscribers are really the core foundation of support for the channel. Without them, we wouldn't be able to put out this content. I know every one of you by name, so thank you very much. Blessings to you. Let's get back into it. Pretty notable decline from a prominent peak on the 20th to a prominent trough on the 20th. Looks like the prominent trough probably there on the 21st or on the cusp of the 21st. Out of that decline into the 21st, there's a fast and move higher marking the end of the decline towards the end of the day on the 21st, taking us into another peak on the 22nd that we declined down to and through support to meet another support, and then we rotate sideways along that support. A bit of a rally into the 23rd, but that rally is halted by a sharp decline through key support on a multi-day scale, taking us into an important trough towards the end of the day on the 23rd. An important support level on a one-year chart scale minimum, highlighted on the 26th, about midday. Prominent peak or crest early midday on the 27th in the midst of a period of volatility where we have erratic behavior back and forth through the same price level. There's a crest there that we revisit that was recently a past opportunity. My sense is that's probably the one from back here on the 21st, 22nd. And then on the 28th, we have a period of sideways rotation that ends with a fast sudden move higher, taking us into another prominent peak towards the end of the day on the 28th. Important trade opportunity there, and a notable decline on the 29th from a prominent peak all the way to a prominent trough on the cusp of the 29th or possibly the first trading day of the following month. Sneak preview for March, an important low on like a on like a one-year chart scale, probably an important low there. And that's February for Tesla. Let me know what you think by hitting that like button. As always, make sure to follow that rule of karma. You know where to go. You know what to do. Blessings to all my angel investors. Stay tuned if you got the paid version.